Mel,
Yeah,
we have a major announcement to make.
go for it.
Did you know that right now all plans on Mint Mobile are what?
$15 a month.
Okay, that's truly ridiculous. Do you know how much regular cell phones are?
Yep.
$1 bazillion a month. 15 is less than that.
New customers get 3 months of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month if you sign up right now. And guess what? I use it. I love it. I've used it all over the country, all over the world, and it's great. And if you're wondering about phones, they have those available as well, or you can just port your own number and your current phone over to Mint Mobile. They make it so easy.
So if people are interested in trying out Mint Mobile, how can they go about doing that?
Go to trymintmobile.com/WWDN. And you know, it's interesting. When my dad died, we actually put his phone on a Mint Mobile plan because it kept his number going, but it was $15 a month. So there you go. And there's different storage plans, but you might as well just get the unlimited because it's $15 a month.
Absolutely. All right, go try it today.
That's trymintmobile.com/WWDN.
Well, Mel, here we are together. Here we are together at our podcast recording. I couldn't think of a
Do you want me
rhyme for
to
that.
play some piano music under that so that it sounds like the song
From like
later?
preschool. Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
We have a guest today that we've just met and we'd love to introduce to our audience.
Yes. Guest, will you please tell us your name?
I'm Kelli Grace.
Hi, Kelli Grace. Where do you hail from? From whence dost thou hail?
Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Really?
You've pulled a bait and switch on us because you don't sound like you're from Colorado Springs.
I'm from Mississippi, but I've been here my whole adult life. I just have kept that really nice, cute Southern accent.
Okay, so originally from Mississippi
Yes.
and now in Colorado Springs.
Other than the obvious reason why you're here, tell us a little bit about yourself. Do you like to do things? Or are you grieving so much that you're like, I hate everything right now?
At this point, since today is the 1 year that I knew I was a widow, we're kind of at that we hate everything.
All right.
Oh, that was such like a teaser, Mel. Didn't you feel like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you hate everything right now.
Absolutely.
And you remember pre-hating everything, what did you like? What kinds of
Oh.
things did you do?
I used to furniture flip. I used to go to the thrift shop like it was nobody's business. And me and my husband were the best daters. We did all the activities. Anything they had going, we were going.
Oh my
Axe
goodness.
throwing, indoor skydiving, whatever we could find to do, we were going to do.
You guys sound so fun. Did you use coupons to do it or did you just like go?
Absolutely not. We just went poor trying to do fun things.
I love that so much. Kelli Grace, tell us about your person.
Well, he was 27, the light of my life, the best booty you'd ever seen. He would say that he was 6'2", but he was actually 5'9".
Oh no.
Don't tell anybody. Do
Okay.
not tell anybody that,
Keep
okay?
the secret.
You know, he loved to ride motorcycles, anything fast. He was hilarious, and this man did anything I asked. Anything. You rip up the carpet at 9 p.m. with no plan? Yes, honey, of course. Absolutely, I would love to do that. Let's get a rabbit. Okay, baby. I'll build an enclosure in our basement. You want a cat on our way to Santa Fe, New Mexico? All right, honey, let's get a cat when we're in Santa Fe. It'll be fine. You hate cats, but it'll be fine, babe. You want it.
I can see why you hate everything now, for sure. What is this amazing person's name?
William. Other
Did he-
people would call him Will, and it still irritates me to this day. I've called him William from the day we met until the day he passed away. He is not Will, he is William.
How did you find this William character?
Don't make fun of me, but Tinder.
We will not make fun of you for Tinder. I
Never.
was waiting for something way like weirder. So
Like you met at the clown store or something.
I lived in Denver. He lived in Colorado Springs. So we FaceTimed every single night for about 2 months. And then on our first date, because I'm so smart, I decided to go on a Tuesday afternoon on a hike with a stranger. And when he said, "Do you want to go off trail?" I was like, "Absolutely." Like, what is the worst that could go wrong?
Hmm.
And it all went right.
Oh,
You know, do you know the the TV show Homicide Hunter with Joe Kenda, based in
Yes.
Colorado Springs? So you actually probably could have gotten murdered.
Maybe it would have been a fun time. I don't know. Now would I know?
So this story, it has not been on Homicide Hunter, correct? William was not a victim.
No, he was a victim of motorcycle driving.
true.
Oh.
Wait, though. We still have to find out. When did you guys get together on Tinder, first of all? When did you not get murdered on your first date? And then did you guys end up getting married? And when was that?
So we actually did all of this quickly. We met March 4th in 2021. March 24th, I told him he was my boyfriend. By then, honestly, we were already trying for a baby. We moved in together, and this is crazy. We moved in together September 29th, and that'll be crazy later. We moved in September 29th. We got engaged in December. We planned a wedding in a month and got married July 23rd.
So that was a whirlwind.
So about a year and a half of knowing each other, and we were married and already been trying for a baby.
We have to ask, were you successful in your attempts? What a strange way to ask that.
So yes, in November, after our wedding, we found out we were pregnant with a little boy named Dominic,
Oh.
and he is forever 3 months old.
Yes, I kind of understand that. I have to ask, this is so random, Kelly Grace, but what is your astrological sign?
Aquarius.
Aquarius. I don't know anything about astrology, but I feel like you are the embodiment of something astrologically. Is that true?
I'll look it up.
Okay. Do you know stuff about astrology,
I
Kelly
do
Grace?
not. I
Okay.
just know that it's the water sign.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I don't know what Aquariuses are, but I think you are that.
Well, would you like to know according to USA Today?
Isn't that just
Those
like
are
a
the
horoscope
experts.
Oh, I have to pay $1 for 1 year. Wait. Okay.
for a
Those are the
year?
experts.
Yeah, I guess.
For an expert opinion, come on, guys.
The podcast can pay for it, Mel.
Key personality traits of Aquarians: highly intellectual and creative.
True or false?
I would like to think I'm brilliant, but
Okay. True.
I'd probably have to ask somebody else.
Okay. Independent. They don't like to be told what to do.
That I can side yes.
Okay. While they can be social, they are not likely to participate in social interactions unless they truly want to.
100%.
I feel like that's all people, isn't it?
Probably. I
Yeah,
think
okay.
all of them are all people.
Yeah, yeah. That's, pretty true.
Aquarians are ideas people, never suffering a drought of inspiration.
That sounds true.
Uh,
I don't know. You and your furniture flipping and or all of your dating ideas, you sound like you had lots of ideas.
maybe I just had a lot of time on my hands.
Well, this also says unpredictable, sometimes moody, and often strike others as unique individuals, leading with originality and creativity.
I'll start with the moody is 100% me.
Okay. Well, if you're interested, your career paths could be social work, journalism, humanitarianism, and other helping professions.
I'm an occupational therapy assistant, so I'm right there
Oh.
with it.
Thanks, US Today. Best dollar ever spent.
And we can check it for the rest of the year, Mel. Sorry, we had to take that little detour because it just seemed important to me at the time. But Kelly Grace, you have Dominic. I'm guessing he was 3 months old when William died. Is that how
He
it
was
went down?
10 weeks old when William died.
Okay. So tell us what happened to William.
So he was in a motorcycle accident. They used to call it church. So basically, a bunch of riders would ride so fast they were going to see heaven.
Oh, sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, right. Some of his friends say he was heading home. I'm not sure. I went to bed. I woke up around 2 a.m. and I texted him, no response. I checked his location. It said he was across from the police department. So I kept calling the cops. Where's my husband? Like, I know y'all know. Eventually, I looked at it from Google Maps and it said the coroner's office. 2 hours
What?
later, I was notified. They showed up at 6:32 a.m. I was on the phone again with the police, like, you need to tell me where my husband is. It's saying he's here. What do I do? And she just said, ma'am, answer the door. And a coroner, a police officer, and a like mental health professional walked in.
Oh my goodness. So when he first wasn't responding, what was your first thought that had happened?
I actually immediately texted my mom and I said, William didn't come home. Something's wrong.
Mm.
And I was so angry because the cops kept saying, well, maybe he's just staying out for a night. And I was like, you don't know my husband. You do not like, we could be in a fight and he would come home. You do not know my husband.
So
And
they made it, they didn't know where he was, even though he was
nope.
at the coroner's
Oh
office.
my
Or
gosh.
they said they didn't know, but
Oh my
she knew
goodness.
when she was on the phone with me because she said, ma'am, answer the door right when they knocked.
You know
Oh,
who was not in charge of this investigation? Joe Kenda, because they would have known.
Who was that?
Wow. The
that's the,
homicide hunter guy in Colorado Springs.
Oh, from the TV show. I was like, wait, what are we talking about
Yeah, he
again?
was like the lead detective there. So I feel like things would have been in order if he had not been retired. Okay, so here's a question. A lot of people, when they are dating somebody and they know that they have a love for motorcycles, it scares them. Did that scare you, or were you even worried at all?
So I'd always joked to him when he'd ask me to ride with him. I'd say, well, our kids can't be orphans. And every night I would say, when I went to bed, if he was still out, be safe, love you, come home. Every night. That was my ritual of a text if he went riding. And he always came home and never late.
hmm. So it sounds like you don't have a full picture of what happened. He was with his friends and you don't exactly know what went down.
Well, I know that he left the gas station and he told his friend he had to get something from home. That doesn't make sense to me because I had texted him 10 minutes before me and Dominic were going to sleep. There was no reason for him to come home to get something. I'm assuming he just wanted to come home. So he left the gas station and he was going at least 160. Per his autopsy, he was really drunk. He hit the curb, he was ejected, and he hit a tree. And from what the lady who first was on scene, who was not like 911, she wasn't in that, who gave him CPR, said he was dead on arrival.
Wow. How long did it take you to get all that information? Were they forthcoming about it, or did it kind of take you doing some detective work?
So he died. Well, I didn't find out. He died at 10. I didn't find out till 6. But the lady who did CPR, she actually reached out to me on Facebook. And then I did have to beg to see his autopsy report. And then I had to beg to see his motorcycle. The police didn't think that it was going to be good for me to see the condition. I had to also beg to have a visitation of just only I saw his body, but I did have to like tell them that was going to happen. They can't tell me no
Hmm.
Why were they withholding of the autopsy? That's
because
strange.
it wasn't good.
Just because of the information in there.
Yes,
Oh
and I
boy.
didn't know he was drunk until the military was trying to withhold benefits.
Oh man, that's a whole nother part of the story.
Tell us about that. So tell us his military career.
So he was in the military for 8 years. He was in a previous marriage, so we had a stepson who we raised. He did not change the life insurance policy to me when we got married, so she got all of the money.
No.
Yes. The military did give us some benefits. I got his BH. Ultimately, I did end up getting the benefits they were trying to withhold, but we had to fight for them. And then my stepson gets Social Security, so that goes to her as well. A lot of the benefits went to her.
Ugh. Okay, we're going to have a public service announcement right now. Make sure your life insurance beneficiaries right now are the people that you mean them to be. This happens not too infrequently that people forget to change their beneficiary and the person who's the beneficiary does not do the right thing. It's so frustrating.
It really, really hurts.
Yeah, because Mm. Be, I don't know. I could say a lot about this, but it's just like, why does that other person think that they're entitled to it? Besides, like, they legally are. It's just like the purpose of it is not, the purpose is to help the surviving spouse or the surviving person. So I don't know. Okay.
When you had to go up against, I guess, getting the military benefits, is it contingent on how they died?
For what I understand, which I'm not, a military guru, I don't know all the answers. From what I understand, if they're drunk, it's suicide, self-inflicted in some way that the military doesn't cover it.
Mm. But you were able to fight with them and
Well, actually, the military people on our side at Peterson did all of the work for me. I honestly didn't do anything to get benefits. My dad actually really helped a lot with that as well. They kind of worked together, and then it eventually came to me. But I know we had to fight for it. I was basically dead
yeah.
from the time it happened until, well, I'm still dead, so.
Yeah.
So, Kelly Grace, when William died, you had Dominic, who you said was 10 weeks old, and then you had did you say stepson?
Yes, but he called me mom. I would never have called him my stepson until to
Yes,
make
until,
this make sense.
right.
And
How
then I have a
quickly,
9-year-old.
oh, you have a 9-year-old as well. How quickly
Yes.
did the biological mom come for your stepson?
So we had actually went to court for full custody after she had been out of the country and we had raised him. We lost custody September 7th and he died September 29th. So
Oh,
she had just had him. She actually came after he died and stayed at our house for 2 weeks. I have photos of her holding our baby
hmm.
for her to leave and then say, you can't see your son, you can't talk to him, nothing.
Was she out of the country because of military stuff as well, or for other
She,
reasons?
yes, she applied to go on a short term. So it was her choice to go. It was not the military had forced her, asked her. She was requested to go for 18 months.
So you had grief that your husband died. You have grief that you've lost a child in a way, and then tell us about Dominic.
Um, I woke up, I went to bed around 1 a.m. on October 17th. That day he had just turned 3 months. I woke up at 6 a.m. and he wasn't breathing. I called 911 and there was nothing they could do. Autopsy did show he died of sudden infant death syndrome. I can barely talk about Dominic because it hurts different than William.
Yeah.
Hey guys, just checking in and want to say if you are enjoying this podcast,
And you want to see it keep going, maybe it's helped you through your widowhood journey and you think that it might help others on their widowhood journey, you can support that cause by joining our Patreon.
some of the things that you get as a Patreon beneficiary are ad-free episodes, so you don't have to hear ads like this.
You also get exclusive content, and at a certain level, you might also get an exclusive t-shirt you can only get that place.
That is true. It's pretty cool. There are 4 different tiers available, so check it out. It's patreon.com/WWDN.
And as an extra bonus, very often you get your names read by one of my kids, and they will do a terrible job with the pronunciation. And that's like a bonus, I think.
I think it's kind of the best. I would much rather hear somebody butcher my name than say it correctly.
A child butcher it than an adult do it correctly. Yep. So go to patreon.com/WWDN to keep our podcast going and support the widowed cause.
Yes! Thanks, guys! Back to our regularly scheduled program. That's too much. When you're like, I feel dead, still very much valid. That makes a lot of sense. And we're so sorry that you had the additional loss in addition to William. So that sucks so much. I'm so sorry. How is your support system around you? Because that's so much to deal with.
I will say I've lost a lot of friends And I wouldn't even say that now I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm not sure that was a loss anymore.
Hmm.
I asked one of my friends if she realized that she was disrespectful or if she was that socially stupid.
What did she say? She's like, no, I'm stupid.
She didn't, she was like, I didn't realize that those things were hurtful. She was sending me reels of moms holding newborn babies. And then at the end, it would be like, you're a good mom. Well, I think you're a good mom. My kid just died last week. What? Uh, and you thought that was appropriate where, who, how?
I'm just shaking my head. I don't have much of a response.
I know. I'm like processing all of this and my mouth's
Yeah.
open. So it was a year ago today. We're recording this September 30th that you found out William died, but he died on the 29th because it was at 10 p.m.
Yeah, so I was notified at 6, so it was today.
Was it 2 weeks later that Dominic died?
It was 2 weeks later and 2 days after William's funeral on William's birthday. William would have been 28 on October 18th.
Okay. I think we just need a minute. So the universe is being real shitty to you for some reason.
And this is also weird. When I was a kid, my first friend that ever passed away died on October 18th. And I always thought she gave me William.
There's like you're living in a simulation. I don't think that you're living on in this reality or something.
This is like a terrible video game that is not okay.
I feel like it's that movie when you wake up, that scary movie where she wakes up and every day the same thing happens over and over.
Groundhog Day, but scary.
51st dates, but scary.
It's like every day she wakes up and she's like at the same, like about to be killed. And then she wakes up again. And I'm like, that's my life now.
Are you able to sleep? I mean, this is a lot.
Not much.
Yeah. How has this taken a toll on your body?
I've lost 40 pounds. I was 135 pounds and now I'm 109, maybe. I've gotten 20 tattoos in a year.
It's a lot.
I dyed my hair for the first time in 10 years.
It looks cute, by the way.
Thank you. I got piercings on my shoulders, on my nose that I don't need. I have collarbone piercings for those who are trying to visualize.
I think people who haven't had tattoos and piercings and haven't had significant trauma, maybe a mix of all of those, they don't understand why people get tattoos and piercings as a result of trauma. Will you talk to our friends who maybe they don't understand it? Tell us about it. What did it do for you and how has it been helpful?
So I think for me, I wanted to look totally different. I'm already not that person I was a year ago today. I have changed in every way. And when I look back at pictures of myself with William, I almost feel like that was a dream. And so I need to be a different person, even if I just look completely different. Maybe I'll feel better. I don't know why other people do it, but that's how I feel.
Have you done any memorial tattoos?
I have. I have done my body is almost a shrine.
Mhm.
I have our bouquet in his handwriting. I have his motorcycle. I have a tattoo that is stained glass and it's a black and white hand holding like this. I have one to represent grief. And then for the baby, I have his name as well as the first sleeper I ever bought him was a blue sleeper that had rainbows on it because we had a miscarriage before. So that was my favorite. So I got that. And then I got our hands, a mixed baby's hand and a adult white hand holding.
So, Kelli Grace, when William died, your other child was 9. Is that right?
He was 8. He just turned
He
9.
just turned 9. Okay. So you've just gone through this tsunami of awful, horrible things, but you still have one living child who's still with you that you have to take care of. How have you been able to do that? That's got to be a monumental task.
Well, right now, I'm unable to. I live in a bungalow that is on my parents' property, so my son lives across the driveway at their house.
With your parents.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has severe autism, and I was having a really hard time navigating that all day he talks about it. Daddy's in an urn. My daddy's dead. Mommy will be happy if daddy's not dead. And then he would talk about Dominic. Well, Dominic's dead. I had a brother, but my brother's dead. And he would say things like, well, mommy couldn't keep brother, brother's dead. And he doesn't mean it, and he doesn't know it hurts, but it breaks my soul inside.
That's so hard. That's so hard. Because yeah, he's not doing that with, I mean, he's probably just processing it the same as you are, but he's just doing it in a way that's hard for you to hear, but not in a malicious way.
Right.
Yeah.
He's stating facts. With autism, some people don't think that the people with autism have emotions, and that's not true.
Absolutely.
Have you seen any emotion, um, like tears or anything like that, or does he mostly process verbally?
I think he mostly processes verbally, but he does understand. Like he will say things like, my mommy wouldn't be sad anymore if daddy wasn't in an urn. When daddy comes back, mommy won't be sad. When daddy comes back, we can play. And he doesn't cry about it, but he knows it's sad, and I know he misses his dad, and that's his way of processing, and he misses his brothers.
Yeah.
The situation is so hard, and I'm impressed that you're even speaking to us. Like you're forming sentences and you're sitting up straight. You mentioned that you're an occupational therapist. Are you currently able to work, or are you on some time off?
So I took about 5 or 6 months off, and then I went back. Well, originally I went back to work a week after my son's funeral because I'd been on maternity leave and I had to go back. I had some supervisors who were already unkind to me before uh, leaving on maternity leave. And then they had made comments like, I called out one day and one of them said something along the lines of, well, you need to tell us when you're going to call out. And I
Oh,
was like,
because
I'm
that's how it
sorry,
works.
I literally looked at her and I said, I'm so sorry I wanted to kill myself yesterday. Did not mean to inconvenience you. Like, my bad. My
Yeah.
bad, girl. Who raised you? So I resigned. And then I went to a different facility that was just unethical and it was horrible. Those two supervisors left my old job. So I went back and it's been great. And it's my counselor actually says it's the only thing keeping me alive. And she's right. It's the only thing I look forward to. It's the only thing I have to do.
Yeah.
I was thinking a little bit about sort of this situation recently because when I had a super hard 5 years and a lot of like moving around and then having to abandon some of the work that I had done or refer it to somebody else. I'm a musician, so it's like recording studio kinds of things. And this last week, I had some conversations with somebody that I previously worked with, and I thought we had a good working relationship. But I do remember that time when it was really close to the death. I mean, and when I say really close, like within the first year, and the person had been going through a divorce or was about to. And it's almost like anything that I said that had to do with it's been hard because of this death, the person couldn't even manage hearing it and would cut me off and then tell me how much worse that person's life was because, well, you don't have kids and you're not going through a divorce. And so it's like, what do? You just like, for me, I clammed up and I'm like, I'm here to just play my session and get out of here. But that stuff sticks with you. And it's like, getting to my point is now that I'm about 7 years out and I can look back and see, yeah, I was obviously not doing very well and just trying to survive. It's almost like it looks like a visual to me of we're living under the surface of the ocean and we're down here so far and all we're trying to do is breathe and that's it. And then yes, there's difficult stuff that others are going through, but I feel like if they're able to be functioning and show up to work and, semi kind of normal life, maybe they're struggling, but they can be above the surface and they're still functioning. And it's like, we hear a lot of stories, and I've, experienced this too, where there's just no empathy from people that don't get it. And it's like, you can't force them to somehow understand, even though you want to say, hey, I can't wait. You're an asshole. I can't wait for you to go through something like this. And then you're going to eat your words. It's so hard. And so I hate it when there's situations like that, because this stuff is so big and so deep that people can't even comprehend the depths of how low you can go. Like, they can only maybe imagine it in words, but never will they feel anything that's like excavated you so much and then destroyed you. I wish that there were a way for more people who haven't gone through it to maybe not say things like that, obviously. And then you had lost your child too. So it's like, you guys, common sense, and we're preaching to the choir here because we're all widows and we've gone through things, and it's hard. But yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you. And I'm really glad that you're back with people who support you and that you're able to have that environment.
I think my job now is like what kind of keeps me going. Like, if I'm thinking about doing something I maybe shouldn't, I'm like, okay, I actually have so and so, and I promised them tomorrow we would do this during therapy. I got to be there at work tomorrow. I promised them. Can't do anything dumb. I made a promise.
Can we address that head on? I feel like you are somebody who I know that a lot of widows have feelings or have thoughts about harming themselves or suicide. And you said this at the beginning, like, the worst thing has already happened to me. This was off mic before we started recording. What else bad is going to happen to me that matches what I've already been through? And you have it even kind of two steps further than a lot of us do. How do you deal with that? And how have you been able to stay here? And what advice do you have to other people who are going through that as well?
To be honest, right now, I am in such of the trenches that I don't know if I have advice. My counselor keeps telling me that every decision I make is just self-harm. And she's right. The only advice I have is just think about that one freaking thing that you're supposed to do the next day, regardless of what it is. It might be something stupid. You told Sally that you would bring her a phone charger. Focus on that because you got to be there to bring Sally her phone charger. But I would say right now it's really hard to say that anything about it because every day I'm like, damn, it kind of sucks around here.
Yeah. And are people giving you the expectation right now that you should be functioning better or doing better? Because it's already been an entire year.
Yes. And I also keep telling those same people, I'm like, I used to think suicide is selfish. I used to think, who the hell would do that to their family? And I'm so sorry for all the widows out here who lost a spouse to suicide. But now sometimes I think to myself, am I selfish? Or are they selfish for wanting me to feel like this all the time?
Hmm.
Right? Because the feeling hasn't changed. I still feel like shit, but you guys are happy that I'm here, I guess.
Yeah. That's a really interesting way of thinking about that.
I mean, I've told my mother I wish I could be on hospice care for a broken heart. You can get it for stage 4 liver cancer. Why can't I get it for like my organ is not working either.
Can we
This is
can we give you hospice, but like you don't have to die at the end? Like, can we give you all the good parts of hospice
oh,
and
like the
then
morphine?
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yes.
gonna say that, but
Thanks.
I was
Yes.
gonna say
Give me the morphine.
you can have all the snacks you want. You get to eat whatever you want. Nobody tells you what to do. You can pee in your bed if you want to. Some
Yeah, I don't
people
want to do
like,
that. That's little. I'll even wipe my own butt.
okay. I
Oh,
just
you're
want to give you like everything that you need or want right now because you're in such a tender state. And
Morphine, pain relief.
I do have, I do have full faith though, Kelli Grace, that your heart that's not working right now can be rehabilitated. And rehabilitated is the wrong word because I don't know. That means, I don't know. It
Wanted
just
to
doesn't
like
seem like the
move
right.
forward a little bit.
I just know that like how you are right now is not how you will always be. And it's,
That's my hope.
yeah. And it's hard to hear that sometimes too, because it's kind of dismissive of how you're feeling now. So I just want to say, like, we see you how you are now, too. Like, see you, not like see you, but we
Yeah.
see your pain and we say you are completely valid in feeling those feelings 100%. And there is going to be a time when it's not like this.
My coworker, who's also a widow, always tells me the 7 year mark is when it got better. And so I'm just waiting that good 7 years. Seven's my favorite number. I'm thinking, year seven, I'm gonna be a hype girl. I'm gonna be back on, you know.
I'm so glad she told you 7 years because I feel like that's a reasonable number instead of this
Yeah,
one year.
Instead of
You know,
one, yeah. I mean, I'm at 7 years. It's like, okay, it's true. I'm functioning a little bit better.
I like how you couldn't even say the word functioning. She's
That's
telling
why
you she
Are you
that's why
functioning if you can't say it?
that's why I
I'm
said a little
functioning.
bit better. Not fully functional, definitely.
Yeah.
Do
What are
you
you?
have widow friends that you've met?
I do. So I have one widow friend, and she's a year younger than I am, but a year farther out than I am. She's 2 years, but she's remarried already.
You're only 20. How old are you?
I'm
27?
27. I was
Yeah.
26 when I was widowed.
That's so young to be going through all this.
It's so not fair.
Yeah. When you're 80, you're going to be like to all them young whippersnappers, you don't even know. You don't
I
even
mean,
understand.
now when I talk to patients and they're like, "Yeah, we've been married 50 years." I'm like, "You're so lucky." And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "No, you trust me, you don't get it. You are so lucky to have made it that 50 years without tragedy happening."
Do you tell those? Do you like, do your patients know your story?
And some of them do because they'll ask, "Are you married?" Things like that. And I will, like, I've had a patient who had her husband die while she was at the facility. And so, like, we kind of bonded over that. You know, like I built rapport. Not to say I used my widowhood to do anything, but we built kind of rapport based off of that, and we worked together very well.
Anita, I hear we have a store.
Oh, we sure do. We've actually had it for quite a while. It's called the Snarky Grief Shop, and it's where you will find all of our best grief merch. That is, yes, a little snarky. For instance, it's where you will find the official widow card that you can pull and use at your convenience.
You can put it in your wallet, and anytime you need to use it, pull it out, play the widow card.
Yeah, we have glow in the dark stickers. We have shirts that say, "Be nice, my husband is dead." We also have the ones that are not quite as jarring, so that you can wear them out in public and not feel weird. But sometimes you need that shirt.
I wear my Be Nice, My Husband is Dead to bed because I'm a little scared to go in public with it, but you've worn it on airplanes before with your kids.
Yeah, every time we go to the airport, I wear that shirt because I'm just like, listen, I got to get all these kids through security. Just be nice to me. Thank you so much. And it's worked for the most part.
Some of the less snarky grief shirts are podcast shirts or Widow Wives Club. We also have Resilient AF, right, Anita? What else we got in there?
Yeah, which we're telling everybody who cares, like Mel's mom, that means American fork because she can't know what it really means, guys.
Yeah.
Stickers and mugs and notebooks and just cool stuff that you can use to express your snarky grief. You'll find it by going to our website, shop.widowwedonow.com. There's a lot of W's in there, so just make sure that you've counted them and there's the right number.
We will link to that in the show notes, and it's also in our app, which you can get from the App Store. Can people get it from our regular website too?
Yes, if you go to widowwedonow.com, there's a link for the shop in there too.
Great. If you'd like to show your snark or have something a little more subtle, go ahead and check that out. Again, that's
shop.widowwedonow.com. How does, I mean, For me, there was a time where it was like the widow vomit. Like I felt like I needed to tell everybody that I was a widow, and that still happens sometimes. But did you feel the same thing about Dominic, or did you feel like that was closer to the heart and you didn't want to share that?
I mean, with Dominic still, it is, I can honestly make jokes. I wear t-shirts that say my husband ghosted me. I could never, like, talking about Dominic even kind of chokes me up.
Yeah.
And so I try my best not to at work,
Mhm.
anywhere, just because it's hard. It's, and the PTSD is still so fresh and so strong. I was at a restaurant 2 nights ago with my parents, and a baby started crying, and I immediately burst out crying and had to go to the bathroom until the baby stopped. And then I left the restaurant because all I could see was Dominic.
Mm, it's so hard. Do you think that part of the reason it's such a different grief is because William was an adult and in control of his own decisions and his own destiny, and Dominic wasn't old enough to do any of that yet?
Yes, and I think it's hard because in a certain way, I feel like I did not protect him. I know there's
Mm.
nothing, obviously logically, I know there was nothing I could do. There was nothing I could do. But, still, I'm like, well, what if I had woken up? What if I hadn't have gone to sleep? What if I'd woken up 2 hours earlier? Losing him was so hard. And I lost the person that wore every hat. I had to learn how to use the washing machine and the dishwasher, y'all. That's complicated. He did everything for me. He took care of me. And so now it's like, what the hell? I don't know what I'm doing. I had to get car insurance. I still don't have car insurance and I'm a week late because I can't figure this mess out,
Do you still have the cat that you got on the way to Santa Fe?
unfortunately. And then I also got another cat because in my grief, although I hate cats, I was like, I need another pet.
What about the
So
bunny?
we still have the bunny. I pay 400 or $100 a week to have him boarded because my parents don't want him at this house. So it's been a year of $100 a week. We can all do the math there. Franklin Levante, the love of my life.
Is that the bunny's name?
My favorite boy name was Franklin, and his was Levante. Ew. So he said Franklin was terrible. He thought Levante was great. And so I was like, ah. So Franklin Levante ended up the rabbit.
Where did Dominic come from then?
We were watching that show, Chasing Life, when we found out we were pregnant, and all the names he picked out were stupid. Okay, Jorgen, like Morgan with a J. He
Uh-huh.
he likes that name. He made that up all by himself. So proud. Atlas, but with a D. Datlas.
Okay, no.
Well, we could have had a baby with a stupid name. So Dominic is what it ended up. And then I called him Nikki.
Oh my goodness. I am kind of mad because I really want to see William making one of those TikToks of possible baby names. I mean, he could have smashed that out of the park.
It would have been so bad because every name he came up with, I was like, you're like, this has to be a joke. And no, he was all serious. Baby, that's great. No, it ain't. But we do not want our first grader getting made fun of by a kid who has a stupid spelled name. Because at least their name is real, it's just spelled wrong. You made that up.
Good old Datlas.
Good old Jorgen.
Jorgen, Datlas, Franklin, Levante,
Like Jorgen Datlas
Brown.
Sutter.
Well, what's so funny is that we were talking before we hit record, and there was a typo in your name, Kelly Grace, and so Anita thought your name was Curly Grace. Maybe that's William kind of doing a little haunting.
I'm pretty sure it was. He also locks the front door every night.
Really?
He used to complain every night that I left it open and somebody's gonna break in. And I leave it unlocked every night. And every night I wake up and it's locked.
That's at least kind of helpful. I mean,
Who's gonna break in? I live in the middle of the woods.
don't ask that question.
Listen, you are in Colorado Springs. Joe Kenda can tell you.
Well, maybe somebody would kidnap me and murder me. Like, who said that's a bad idea?
That's true. She's in that
I mean,
headspace right now,
I'm
so.
not complaining.
So a lot of times when we do interviews, everybody's at a different time out from the time their partner died. And 1 year is very fresh, like Anita has mentioned. I think it's easy as time goes on and we start doing a little bit of healing or like learning how to manage all these things. Our brains keep some things to remember and then forget some things. So all of the big painful things that are even tiny things like breathing every day, or sometimes it's easy for those of us that have had some time out from the death to forget that. Because you are at the time frame that you are, what are things that you would tell other people that would help you or somebody in your vulnerable position? Like what are helpful things?
I like journaling. And I've read a couple of books like Megan Devine's It's Okay to Not Be Okay. I'm sure y'all have talked about that here. I did her workbook. I did this grief journal that I found on Etsy and some things like that. Those have helped. Going to counseling has helped. I have a counselor and then a medication doctor. I'm not even on medication, but she's there if I wanted to start an antidepressant or something. And then I would say, if you can, work. Do something that's going to get you out of the house that you have to do. Make a schedule. Make appointments. Go make yourself fabulous. Every weekend, I have appointments I have to do. This weekend, I got my teeth whitened. I got a wax. I got my nails done. I'm getting my lips that I don't even need filled for anyone who can't see me. I'm getting lip filler on October 18th. So that day, I have something I have to do. Tattoos, I've scheduled 20. I have
20
to go to
more?
those appointments. Well, I've already had 20. I have three more coming up.
I thought you were saying you had 20 additional ones.
I have three more additional that are coming.
Okay.
For somebody that might not know what to say to you or how to act with you when they learn that you've been through such hard stuff, what would you say to that?
Act normal. And don't introduce me as the girl that's husband died. Like that is not who I am. And people have at work. If I walk by a nurse, if they don't know me, the other nurse will go, "Oh yeah, that's Kelly Grace. Her husband died." You could just say, "Oh, that's Kelly Grace."
I
What?
think how they should introduce you is that's Kelly Grace, the girl with unnecessary lip filler. That's how it's going to be in the future for you.
It probably is when I end up like what's that Kardashian?
Oh, I don't know.
Shit.
Any of them.
All of them. I'm gonna end up with
Kim,
duck lips.
Chloe, yeah.
They start with K, Kelly, Curly Grace, Kardashian.
So, I mean, the cool thing that you've just kind of thrown out there and without even meaning to is that you're making yourself fabulous, but not for another person. Sometimes we feel like that kind of thing is for the other person, but you're doing it for your own self. So, I think that's fantastic.
My mom always said growing up, and excuse my language, if you feel like shit on the inside, get dressed on the outside. So I try to make a point that every day I put on clothes. So granted, I wear scrubs to work, but if I get out of work and it's 3 o'clock, I don't put on pajamas, I put on day clothes. If it's a weekend, I don't give a shit if it's 3 p.m. that I actually get out of bed because I sleep all day. I'm gonna get dressed until I'm going to bed again at 10, 5 hours, whatever.
You have more fortitude than I do and ever did.
I I put my pajamas on all the time
I
after
like never
work.
bought a bra for 3 years.
Oh, I don't wear
I
a
was
bra ever. I don't wear one to work. I don't wear
okay.
one. I'm not wearing one right now. I, if my boss says something, I'm gonna be like, I need to call
Well,
HR. I feel really uncomfortable that you're looking at my breasts.
yeah. So, Kelly Grace, Mel asked you what things that you're doing that are helpful, and I'm really curious if you have discovered anything that you have done that's been unhelpful for yourself.
Well, excessive drug use and alcohol use. Apparently, you should not smoke a lot of marijuana and drink a bottle of wine a day. It's not good for your mental health, is what they say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair.
Anything else?
I mean, I would say hanging out with people who aren't there for my recovery journey. Like, if you're going to tell me to just be positive or it's all in God's hands. You aren't somebody I need to be around.
Okay. So what we're hearing is lip filler, yes. Tattoos, yes. Toxic positivity, no. Drugs and alcohol, no. And act like a normal person around you. That's the gospel according to Kelli Grace.
I mean, can you imagine being treated like a baby because your husband died?
I think we can
Yeah.
to a certain
Yeah.
extent.
Yes.
Hi, this is Mel. Her husband died.
Yep. I've definitely
Yeah,
had that.
I mean, that's all her husband died. I'm glad I can introduce y'all. And somebody else was like, why do I care?
I'm like, I can do that myself. And I did. I'm like, I'm Mal. I'm the widow. And then they just would shut up.
Yeah. Well, Kelli Grace, thank you for joining us today. You have a lot that you're figuring out right now. Figuring out is just like not the right terminology for that. I don't even think there is a word that encapsulates what you're doing right now. It's like soul building or something. You're recreating yourself from nothing to hopefully something, and it's a painful process. So we're so sorry that that's what you're doing.
Well, let me know if y'all have any more advice for me.
I don't have advice, but I have a great question, and you probably know what I'm going to ask you. What is your favorite cheese?
Cheddar.
Cheddar.
Yes. Love cheddar.
She didn't even pause. She like knew the answer to that. So
Well, I actually was going to say orange cheese, and then I thought that wasn't going to be a very intellectual answer. And I'm an Aquarius. I need to
I
be
was
intellectual.
gonna say that would betray your Aquariusness. You just say that. Jeez. Kelli Grace, we don't ever do this, but do you have any questions for us?
I don't think so. I hope you
Okay.
guys just stay fabulous. Stay
Okay,
podcasting.
Thank you. Well, you are fabulous with all you're doing. So even though I know you feel terrible, so you're an inspiration to us. And thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. And thank you, Kelli Grace. We wish you the best in your continued figuring out of all of this. And keep doing the occupational therapy assistanting and keep helping all those people to do all the things that they need to do because it's great work.
Yes.
If you guys would like to keep the podcast going, will you check out Patreon? It's patreon.com/WWDN.
If you'd like to buy us tacos, go to buymeacoffee.com/widowwedonoww.
And we always love a nice rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That really helps podcast as well. Until we get to talk to you again, I'm Anita.
I'm Mel.
I'm Kelli Grace.
We are just two young widows and one widow with the best rabbit's name of all time and also like the worst story. And we're all just trying to figure out widow.
We
Do.
Now.
One of the questions we get asked the very most is, do you have a therapist you can recommend for me? And while we wish that we knew of therapists in every single place, in every single part of the country, we don't. So what do we tell them instead, Mel?
We say check out BetterHelp because it's online, it's at a reasonable price, and you can be matched with a therapist within 24 hours. I've also used them and they have been great. And if you don't like your therapist, guess what? Click, and get a new one.
Absolutely. It's so hard when you have an in-person therapist, if you're not clicking with them, to cut them off and get a new one. So that's not an issue with BetterHelp. So we always tell people to try BetterHelp. And if you use our promo code, which is
trybetterhelp.com/WWDN,
you get 10% off your first month.
go ahead and try it out. That's trybetterhelp.com/WWDN. And you know what? I'm a big fan of doing therapy where you don't have to wear pants, but nobody knows about it.
Are you wearing pants right now, Mel?
I'll see you later. Bye. That's trybetterhelp.com/WWDN.